You think saving money is about how much you earn. It's not. You're lying in bed, phone glowing in the dark, checking your bank balance one more time. You already know the number, but you still look, just in case something changed. You tell yourself the same thing you've told yourself before. If I made more money, this would be easier. It sounds logical. It sounds fair. It sounds true. But then there's a strange detail you can't ignore. You know people who don't earn much, yet somehow they're okay. Not rich, not flashy, just calm. Their bills don't scare them. Small emergencies don't ruin their month. They sleep better. So what do they know that you don't? This is the mystery no one explains. Saving money feels like a system built for people with high salaries, stable lives, and perfect timing. And yet, some people save even when life is expensive, unfair, and unpredictable. If that confuses you, good, because the real reason people save money has almost nothing to do with income. You were taught a simple rule: earn more, stress less. Save 20%. Cut back. Be disciplined. If you struggle, it must be your fault. That advice sounds clean, but it quietly ignores the world you're living in right now. Prices rise faster than paychecks. Rent adjusts instantly, income doesn't. Subscriptions renew without asking. Convenience costs money, and exhaustion makes convenience tempting. The modern economy doesn't reward perfect budgeting. It punishes mental fatigue. Here's the lie we were sold, that saving money is a math problem. It's not. If saving were just about numbers, people with higher incomes would never struggle. But you already know that's not true. You've seen people earn more and still live paycheck to paycheck, stressed, reactive, one surprise away from panic. The real problem is that most money advice was designed for a world that no longer exists. A world with stable costs, predictable careers, and fewer daily decisions. So when saving feels impossible, it's not because you're irresponsible. It's because you're trying to win a modern game using outdated rules. Imagine two people starting the same year, with the same income, same city, same rent prices, same food costs. On paper, their lives look identical. At first, their spending looks similar too. They both pay bills, grab food when they're tired, replace things when they break. Nothing extreme, nothing irresponsible. But slowly, a gap opens. When an unexpected expense shows up, the first person panics. They swipe, stress, promise themselves they'll fix it next month. That month never really comes. Money feels loud, urgent, always demanding attention. The second person feels the hit too, but reacts differently. No panic, no spiral, just a pause. Their account dips, but their life doesn't fall apart. Years later, the difference is obvious. One feels trapped, even though their income never changed. The other feels flexible, even though their income never changed either. So what happened? It wasn't luck. It wasn't intelligence. And it definitely wasn't income. The difference was invisible, a set of small habits you wouldn't notice on social media, but that quietly decided who felt safe and who didn't. Savers don't use motivation. They use friction. Here's what most people get wrong. Savers are not more motivated than you. They don't wake up excited to be good with money. They don't rely on willpower, because willpower runs out, especially when life is busy, stressful, and unpredictable. Instead, they use friction. Friction means making spending slightly harder and saving slightly easier. Not dramatically, just enough to matter. They don't argue with themselves every time they want to buy something. They change the setup so fewer arguments happen in the first place. Cards not saved in apps. A pause between wanting something and owning it. This works because your brain avoids effort. When something takes even a little more energy, you're less likely to do it, especially when you're tired. Savers don't ask, am I strong enough? They ask, how can I make this easier for future me? When you stop trying to be disciplined and start designing friction, saving stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling natural. Habit 1. They pay themselves emotionally first, not financially. Most people think saving starts with a number. People who actually save start with a feeling. Before they move a single dollar, they decide what saving means. Not wealth, not status, relief, safety, breathing room. The feeling of knowing one bad week won't destroy everything. They don't say, I need to save more. They say, future me deserves less stress. That shift changes everything. Saving becomes self-respect, not restriction. Protection, not punishment. That's why many savers name their savings, not to be cute, but to make it human. Emergency calm, rent backup, sleep at night money. Each small deposit becomes proof that they're taking care of themselves. You don't need a lot to feel this. You just need to feel it first. Once saving creates relief instead of guilt, your behavior follows naturally. Habit 2. They treat low income like a temporary season, not a life sentence. People who save money on a low income share a quiet belief. This is a season, not the story. That belief changes behavior. When income feels permanent and limiting, spending becomes emotional. You reward yourself because life feels unfair. You avoid saving because it feels pointless. Savers don't deny reality. They accept it without letting it define them. Low income becomes a phase they manage carefully, not an identity they perform. This removes two dangerous habits: revenge spending and hopeless budgeting. Recent years forced this mindset on many people. Careers shifted. Stability disappeared. Side income became normal. Savers adapted by staying flexible, protecting cash flow, and preparing for better opportunities. When you see your income as temporary, you stop asking, "What do I deserve right now?" and start asking, "What helps me move forward?" That question alone saves more money than most budgets ever will. Habit 3. They prepare for boring emergencies, not big dreams. Most people try to save by dreaming big: vacations, freedom, a perfect future that feels far away. Savers start with boring problems: a phone that breaks, a bill that arrives early, a small health expense, a bad week. These aren't dramatic emergencies, but they cause panic. Panic leads to rushed decisions. Rushed decisions lead to debt. Savers remove that stress in advance. They don't need a huge emergency fund, just enough to handle the next inconvenience without chaos. That small cushion changes how they think, sleep, and decide. Once boring problems stop feeling like emergencies, money becomes quieter. Life feels steadier. Saving feels like insurance instead of effort. Stability comes before dreams. And stability is what makes dreams possible later. Habit 4. They avoid lifestyle inflation in sneaky ways. When most people earn a little more, their life quietly gets more expensive. Better food, faster delivery, small upgrades that feel deserved. The extra money disappears before it ever feels like progress. People who save money do something different. They upgrade selectively. They spend more on things that reduce daily stress, reliability, comfort, time. Everything else stays intentionally average. They don't chase a better life. They edit the one they already have. This doesn't feel like sacrifice. It feels like clarity. They know which expenses improve their life long term and which ones only create short excitement and long regret. From the outside, their life looks simple. No constant flexing. No pressure to keep up. That simplicity isn't accidental. It's strategic. By keeping most costs stable, even when income changes, they create space. And that space is where saving finally becomes possible. There's a moment most people don't expect. It's not a big number. It's not a raise. It's the first time something goes wrong, and you don't panic. You handle it. You move on. Your day continues. That's when saving stops feeling like denial and starts feeling like protection, like you quietly took care of yourself without realizing it. This calm is addictive in the best way. Saving money is a skill, not a salary. Income helps, but skills decide what happens next. Without this skill, more money just means bigger stress and faster mistakes. Savers aren't lucky. They're trained, often by hard seasons and tight months. In an uncertain world, this skill matters more than ever. And once you build it, no one can take it away. Go back to that quiet moment. Your phone, the number on the screen. That moment isn't failure. It's awareness. And awareness is where change starts. You don't need to be rich to feel secure. You don't need perfect timing or a dramatic breakthrough. You just need one habit that protects future you a little better than yesterday. Saving money isn't about fear or deprivation. It's about choosing peace in a noisy world. It's about giving yourself options before you need them. If you've ever felt behind, remember this: you're not late. You're learning, and learning compounds faster than income ever does. Because the moment you stop fighting money and start working with it, your future doesn't change loudly. It changes quietly, and for good. Now, if you want to learn how to achieve financial success,